Hello out there and welcome to Public Conscience. This is the anti-corruption program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMORG. PRIMORG is a civil society group with the mandate to promote good governance, participation, and accountability in Nigeria. I am Adaobi Obiabumo and I'm with Chidozie Ogbonnaya. On Public Conscience on radio, we seek to evolve a corruption-free society through the amplification of corruption stories reported by our partner media organizations and drawing citizens and government's attention for democratic actions against it. This program is supported by the MacArthur Foundation. We will take a little break and listen to this voice message from previous episodes.
Hello and welcome to PRIMORG's public feedback series on corruption called Voices Against Corruption. And we ask, what is corruption to you?
Corruption can simply mean that to know the right thing and you are not doing it. It can be the misuse or misabuse of an office or a position.
An attitude or a particular set of behavior that is incompatible with a set-down rule. So once it contravenes a set-down rule, you invariably corrupt the stuff.
Corruption is doing things that is not right. It's like illegality, making it to be an order of the day.
Corruption simply means lacking integrity or loss of moral values.
What can citizens do to prevent corruption in Nigeria?
Is to vote a good leader with a good credibility. And two is that when they know that there's a corruption in a place, they have to stand up and fight it.
Everybody should take up responsibilities for themselves because, for instance, somebody is set in an office and he is expected to employ somebody or set of persons by set-down regulation, and you come, you're not qualified, and you force that person to take you, it means you are invariably forcing the person to be corrupt. So you take up responsibility for yourself as a citizen.
If the environment is okay, corruption will be eradicated.
All the people we vote into our government, we need to be checking them. Let us be checking them. Then let us be asking them questions. Then, as we are asking them questions, they should be answering us. Anybody who is not ready for this government, if you will be in the position and we will be asking you questions, you will not answer. Don't go there.
Everybody, including me, should stand against it and not compromise it. Compromise is don't be bought over and don't give room for corruption, even if you are going to die for it. The people should not celebrate the corrupt.
If at all we can have parents teach their children the right things. Things like honesty, telling the truth at all the times, and how not to compete with one another actually. That too is actually a way of teaching children not to be corrupt. Because right now, I think in the home front, they're actually championing some courses that are actually gearing towards enhancing corruption, such as helping their children during exams, paying for their passing centers and stuff like that. To me, that's how corruption starts, from the home front.
And you just heard the opinions of Nigerians on what corruption means to them. And on today we will be looking at PRIMORG's unveiling of a 2-year report of fighting corruption through the radio and social media.
And just yesterday, PRIMORG presented a 2-year report of fighting corruption in Nigeria through the radio and the social media with support from the MacArthur Foundation. We will play more nuggets from Public Conscience and Vox Pop on anti-corruption fight in Nigeria and the challenges militating against the efforts of PRIMORG and other media partners in the fight against corruption. So be ready to join us through phone and text messages in the course of the conversation. The WhatsApp line to send your message to is 0902-265-6167. That is 0902-265-6167. This number is for messages only.
Please begin to send your messages as soon as possible to 09022656167. The numbers to call will be given shortly. Let's also listen to another nugget. Please don't touch your dial.
From my experience, seriously, this government is not ready to fight corruption. As a matter of fact, what this government appears to do is to condone and encourage corruption. Any responsible journalist will tell you that, investigative reporter will tell you that we see our work as complementary to government anti-corruption fight. And we do reach out to anti-corruption agencies because we really want to help in fighting not just corruption, impunity. You talked about it. What we are really battling is impunity. The fact that somebody can do something and know that nothing will happen. He will get away with it.
Yes.
That is the bottom line. Now, when we do investigative reports, we expect government and its agencies to act. Rather than act, what happens is that corrupt government officials that we report about are actually using the imprimatur and the institutions of government to fight us. So we are doing a lot of investigative reports on PHCs. The Buhari government came into government and said they will set up 10,000 primary health centers across the country. Many of them have not been built. Monies have been diverted. We have exposed a lot of this. Let me give you one terrible example. So, in the presidency, the very nose of the president, there is a chief, you amplified it too, there is a chief economic advisor to the president. Nobody occupies that position. And for years, monies have been not just budgeted, released for that office. Who has been spending the money?
Monies have been released into the office of the chief economic advisor to the president, but who has been spending that money? That is the voice of Dayo Ayeton, the executive director at the International Center for Investigative Reporting, ICIR, explaining some of the challenges that investigative journalists go through on the job. According to the United States President Joe Biden, corruption is a cancer that eats away at the citizens' faith in democracy, diminishes the instincts for innovation and creativity, already tight national budgets, crowding out important national investments. It wastes the talents of entire generations. It scares away investments and jobs. End of quote. Without a doubt, the consequences of corruption in Nigeria are enormous and cannot be overemphasized.
And like we told you earlier on, PRIMORG yesterday unveiled a 2-year report having successfully completed an anti-corruption and accountability project titled Strengthening Anti-Corruption and Accountability by Amplifying Corruption-Related Investigative Reports on radio and through social media.
Here are some of the things you should know about the anti-corruption project. The programs were aired in 5 of the geopolitical zones of Nigeria, with the exception of the Northeast. 8 radio stations across the nation were used to syndicate the programs weekly, with over 10 million people reached. At least 307,409 people were engaged on social media. 416 public conscience on radio syndications, 22 radio town hall meetings, 2 community town hall meetings, 36 vox pop, that is the public opinion, and over 1,090 feedbacks from listeners.
And it is worthy of note that through this anti-corruption project, PRIMORG drew government's attention to corruption reports. PRIMORG also celebrated some citizens who displayed integrity in their workplace and massively raised the knowledge and awareness of citizens on anti-corruption issues. But let's listen to this audio from previous episode of the program talking about the need for citizens to rise up to the occasion in the fight against corruption.
Let the citizens come up, wake up, de-emphasizing those things that divide us and emphasizing those things that unite us. First ways to get it right is if we can unite and insist on a proper reform of the Electoral Act to return power to the people, where our votes will count, where money politics will no longer be the order of the day. If we get it right from the Electoral Act, you and I know who is that honest man. We know who are those dubious ones, and we will vote on the strength of integrity. But so long as the politicians, the thieving politicians that we have been cursed with, not blessed with, over the years, are the ones who still manipulate the system to determine it, then we will still be battling with corruption. The first way to fight it is for citizens to wake up, for citizens to unite in demanding that the laws are reformed for the elections. That way we put people who at least have some semblance of fear of God, then we can begin to fight corruption genuinely.
Citizens should wake up in the fight against corruption. That was Lemi Uwebe of the Make a Difference initiative. To help us x-ray this report, we have on the phone the brain behind this anti-corruption project. He is a veteran journalist and the executive director of PRIMORG, Okiria Agbonsuremi. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me on the program. Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
Again, we must congratulate you and the entire team on the 2 years of engaging citizens and government on anti-corruption and accountability issues. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think the praise and if you want to really locate those who have worked very hard, it is the team, the PRIMORG team, where you are also there as the program manager. All of you working very hard in the last 2-3 years to do this job, and then to our partners, the media partners, and the CSOs who have also all joined to make sure that this job is done very well. And the general public, anytime we are on there, people call in and they are giving us messages. They call us privately, send us messages to get the job done very well. And the responses we are getting, and I will also say the MacArthur Foundation that supported this with that project.
Okay. Congratulations to all of us. Could you give us an overview of the report and why the choice of radio for this project?
Yeah, I think the concept came about how do we get to the people, which is the best way to really get to the people with the information that we have. We know that corruption reports, as they are reported in the media houses, die off within 3 days. And the concept was, look, how do we sustain it? How do we make sure that the issues of corruption are brought up? The way we talk about corruption generally was not the way people talk about corruption just 3 years ago. Now almost everybody who have the opportunity of listening to us in the through about 8 radio stations that we used in these last 2 years, and across the five of the 6 geopolitical zones. Unfortunately, we could not work on the radio program in the Northeast. We hope that when we resume the second phase of this project, we should be able to reach as many people in the 6 geopolitical zones. So the idea was to look at how do we go to get to as many people as possible. And radio was the most potent choice. Apart from radio, we also had the social media, because most of the young people are actually on the social media. And this was quite good for us, because our choice became the veritable tool that many people got familiar with, and it resonated around. Seeing that the media houses who have been laboring, journalists who have been working very hard to get reports, can now see that their reports can make more meaning and the impact will come a lot faster. I think it was as a result of being that we decided that radio and social media should be the tool to use, and from what we have seen now, it's become very, very effective.
Radio being a veritable tool for mass communication. It is a soothing relief to know that some of PRIMORG's anti-corruption efforts paid off. Could you share with us some of the success stories in the report?
Yeah, I think the report will have carried the last 2 years. The kind of impact will have, if we have like 3 hours, it will not be enough for us to review. And most of them are those ones that we don't even know. There are so many people who listen to us, who don't get back to us, who don't write us letters, who don't call me. They are just silent listeners. But every day they are there, they are listening to you, they are making their decisions. Our integrity amplification have touched so many people because the program was too prompt. I talked about exposing corruption that was that is so pervasive, that is reported by the media house, and amplifying them, and as well as also amplifying integrity reports. So many Nigerians are living upright. Many people didn't believe that there are Nigerians who are honest, they have integrity, and no matter how you drag them into this corruption that is everywhere, they will just stand on their own and insist that they will do things appropriately and do things correctly. So we have the results from the amplification of the corruption report itself. For instance, if you go to baking community now, the road construction that was abandoned for the past 10 years is being constructed because we insisted that the contractors should be brought back, and the corruption that was living in its officials ran head as the Ministry of Federal Capital Territory to get the contractor back to site. The corruption that was in there with the ADA, this data distribution in that community has completely gone because the community has been voting to fight corruption. They are not saying that they can stand up and fight the corruption by themselves. These are some of the results we have gotten. We also know that so many people followed us and they called us to tell us that they didn't know that birth certificate is free. The extortion has been going on all over Nigeria. It is still going on as we are talking now. For so many people were not aware, but many are aware. They now know that if they give birth to a child, the government has already paid for the birth certificate, and that they don't need to pay anything for it. So they are able to go to the birth registrars now and insist that they get that birth certificate free of charge in the age of the person who needs that certificate between 1 year and before 18 years. Now, these are things that we can pick out and say these are the things we have, pockets of results we have seen. In NAFDAC, it took us to amplify a report by the IPR that somebody was sitting down there. One man called Ikoro was sitting down in NAFDAC office issuing out certifications for products that have not been certified by NAFDAC. And NAFDAC officials, maybe they covered up or they didn't want to take action. Even after the report, nothing happened until we amplified it, invited NAFDAC. We must commend NAFDAC very well for coming on our program. They came to announce that they have investigated and sacked the official, and they have rectified that because they don't want corruption to be part of their system. Of course, NAFDAC has proven to us that they are actually willing to purify and clean up their system. But somebody was sacked for just issuing out for you just take water from the gutter and you take it to NAFDAC, they will certify that it's okay, and then you begin to give out water. A lot of things. So we have had a lot of success, and we must comment before following up and taking action when we ask them to take action.
All right, we know you have a lot more success story to discuss to tell us here, but in the midst of these success stories, there are challenges and bottlenecks. So tell us, what are some of the biggest bottlenecks of the project and the fight against corruption generally?
I think the greatest challenge we have is the greatest challenge and the bottleneck came from the MBAs. There's just impunity in Nigeria. I think Mr. Dayo Ayeton of the NDR mentioned it in the nugget you played a while ago. the impunity in the system. People take the laws into their hands. It is reported after investigation and nothing is done. Even if you invite them to come to a radio program to say, look, this is a report that has been published against you, that there's so event that has happened in the office, that there's money stolen or misappropriated or things not done well, they will just ignore you and they will not attend to you. Because the police will not invite them even after the report. Even after we have amplified it, the police will not invite them, the ICPC will not invite them, the EFCC will not invite them, they will not investigate. So people have impunity. And right in the office of the president, there is impunity everywhere. So that is the greatest challenge we have, that we invite the agencies to come and say, look, this is what we have seen, and they will tell you, they will not even respond to you. If they respond to you, they will pass the buck and nothing happens. So in pushing for results and impact, which this project was supposed to was geared towards, we find bottlenecks in ministries, departments and agencies of government who are not willing to cooperate, because the corruption that happens in those areas are actually those that affect the top officials who should actually investigate this report. How will you explain the situation where the office of the chief economic advisor, they have not been anybody in that office for a very long time now, over 3 years, 4 years, nobody in that office. But every year there's budget and there's releases. We have asked to the report that we amplified, who is receiving this money? Nothing from the president. Like directly under the nose of the president.
That's quite pathetic. Thank you for sharing the challenges PRIMORG faced in the course of execution of this project. But you will hold on, don't drop, because we'll still get back to you. We need to get the listener to join the conversation.
Alright, I must remind everyone listening to us that you can follow us on our social media platforms at official PRIMORG. PRIMORG is spelled PRIMORG. Remember that we are streaming live on Facebook at official PRIMORG.
And remember that this program is interactive. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message to is 0902-265-6167. That is 0902-265-6167. Want to encourage you to begin to send your messages. For you out there, are you aware that you have a big role to play as a citizen in the fight against corruption? You just heard what Lemi Gwebe of Make a Difference Initiative said, that citizens must rise up to the occasion. What do you make of the war against corruption in Nigeria, and how can it be improved going forward? We want you to join the conversation, and I'll ask again, are you aware that you have a big role to play as a citizen in the fight against corruption? And what do you make of the war against corruption in Nigeria, and how can it be improved going forward? We still have Agbons Remi Okiria on the line. Okay, does it go ahead?
All right, we can get back to you telling us more about the report yesterday. What will you tell citizens who seems to have taken back seat in the anti-corruption fight?
It might not be visible, visible as we want it to be, that the citizens themselves are already picking up this war. From the example we saw in Peggy community, from the example we have seen in our collaboration with African, we deal essentially with whistleblowers. The kind of response we are getting from the public is a gradual build-up. All we need to do is to build it up more, encourage citizens to take a role. I know that in the course of this our own engagement on politics extra, we also work with the CSI on Upright for Nigeria, how Nigerians can take up this job of being patriotic, being loyal to the country, and living upright individually, collectively, whether officially or at the private sector. Citizens are already getting examples of private individuals either they are working in official capacity, like a policeman who has chosen to be honest, like a federal safety commission official that has been ready and an accident thing, all the money they collect from the bags and pockets of people who die, they take them to their families. Military men who show exemplary leadership when they see money, they take it off. Even cleaners at the airport. These are some of the ways that we are beginning to see citizens key into this effort of eradicating corruption. At the level of government, we must also tell you that it's not all government officials that are corrupt. So they are also working very hard to see that they do their job diligently. And thanks to accountability lab that we are working with, fishing out those public officials who are working very well to get to control this pervasive presence, the kind of attitude that everybody just believes that we are all corrupt. So if I'm going to answer your question straight, it is to say that citizens need to work more hard. They need to report corruption when they see it, and they must learn to live upright. There's every reason for people to want to be corrupt. People have reasons to want to be corrupt, but I think there are better reasons for wanting to stay upright and not be corrupt.
There are better reasons for citizens to stay upright and not be corrupt, in as much as there are reasons for citizens to be corrupt. When you juxtapose the two, what will your decision be as a citizen? Would you choose to be corrupt, or would you choose the path of integrity? Okiria just mentioned, he gave examples of some Nigerians who are living daily on integrity, which means that we are not all corrupt. Despite the pervasive corruption in the system, there are people out there that we can emulate.
I mean, how can a cleaner at the airport see bag filled with money and return it? That's should serve as a lot of encouragement for anybody who thinks. So I believe that this act of integrity, this life of integrity, it is personal. You must own it for you to display it. You must have that sense that it's not about my current condition, whatever you're passing through.
It's not about the challenges.
It's not about the challenges, because life is never completely good.
There are ups and downs.
There's ups and downs.
The numbers again to call 0902-265-6167. Hello. Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, my name is Daniel. I'm calling from Central area.
Daniel, let's hear you.
Okay, the issue of corruption in our society has actually eaten deep into every fabric. And then it's going to take a lot more than talking for us to come out of this present predicament. Like as now, we see that the youth of Nigeria are beginning to get reawakening. But on the whole, we still see some of these our leaders are trying to tell us that this thing we are doing, we should not take ourselves back to the days of the attack and the rest of all these issues. But the truth remains that the major problem of corruption in our society is in the presidency, it's in the National Assembly, it's in our villages, it's in our churches, it's in our mosques, it's in the streets of our society. And then, since the thing has become so endemic like this, who is saying that is going to accuse the other? Now that even the presidency themselves are corrupt. Even the EFCC themselves are even the anti-corruption.
From what you have said, the corruption is endemic. It's in the system. But we cannot continue like this. So what must we do to salvage the situation?
The thing is that there has to be a change in our society. And the change has to come from the law. There has to be a willpower from the government for them to stop corruption. Because by the time the citizens themselves feel that corruption is anti-corruption is being targeted only at the opposition to government, we see that nothing is going to change. Until as much as there is a leadership and example, we see that the whole lot is going to change in our society. That is just my contribution for today.
Thank you so much. It must start from the top. we need to have a holistic approach in the fight against corruption.
And he also mentioned justice. I believe that the way we punish people who are culpable should matter. We should change or raise the bar. When we are going to, don't deodorize some offenses and use insecticide on others.
If you must use insecticide, use insecticide.
It on,
if you must use
when you have to release the hammer. But I think veteran journalists will tell us more about what we are doing with the justice system when it comes to fighting corruption.
Then for those of you watching via Facebook, you have the opportunity to make your comments. We'll take them in the course of the program.
Yeah, veteran, are you still there?
Let me just react to the caller. He is very, very correct. He is very, very correct that we should start to nail corruption from the top. And I think we have good examples from the leaders, the National Assembly, the local government chairman, the governors, and the presidency. Then the citizens should probably key into it. It will be very, very impactful because the meaning is that those who are found to be corrupt, be punished, they will be sent to jail, and their money will be recovered, and it will create the kind of an atmosphere where people would know that if you are punished, if you are corrupt, you'll be punished. Now, why is there no corruption in China? With the poverty in China is more than the poverty in most of the third world countries. Don't think that China is a country where you have everybody inside an air-conditioned car. There's poverty in China, but if you steal a being, even as a very top government official, you are shocked. Nobody is campaigning. I'm not saying that we should have a capital punishment. If it did need people, why not? Because you see, when you steal money, you kill people. Because you steal the money that would have been good for healthcare, for road, and for all those things.
Definitely.
Be that as it is, the corruption is not just in government and government officials. It is the individual. It is government, for instance, that says you should do traffic lights. Because when we talk about corruption, we're only looking at government stealing money. We're not looking at the little things that we do. The very, very minor things that we do that make it the government that will make money to return 80,000 worth of Bitcoin, $80,000 worth of Bitcoin to its owner by himself.
Okay.
I will just give you an example of very private people who are living upright, whether they are working privately, they are doing their business privately. And when opportunity comes, I call it opportunity. When opportunity comes for them to exhibit their integrity, they don't have any pressure from government. Now, these same government officials, are they not from Nigeria? Mm-hmm. Are they not Nigerians themselves? Are we not the one actually encouraging them to also give us opportunity in their offices? When we go, and because bribery is two-way traffic, it's not one-way. When you have the job opening, if there's nobody paying the government officials, then they will not sell those jobs. I know how difficult it can be. I know how very difficult it can be that you are the unemployed for years and they have opportunity. Somebody say go and bring 1.5 million naira and you get a job in NNCC, in CBN, in all these federal Internal Revenue Service.
In some agencies, it's as high as 3 million.
Yes. Somebody say go and raise the money, and one of your uncles say, no, look, I'm tired of you. Any amount I'll pay. So I know it's difficult, but it is we that also encourage these people, because if there's nobody giving them money, or if we report them appropriately, if somebody asks you to bring money, there are agencies you can report to. You can come to PRIMORG, and we will give you mass money. We will take you to IBTC, we will take you to ESDC personally, and they will take you to not just police station, we will take you to the commissioner of police, and we will work around you give that money to them, and they will be arrested and prosecuted, and you will get your job if you are qualified. But how many Nigerians are willing to do that?
How many Nigerians?
How many Nigerians are willing to do that? Let's take this message on via Facebook from Okay. From Teso Peters, and it says the government is just there and practically away from so many things, and that is why corruption is barely checked. The economy is in comatose, leading to the highest unemployment rate, poverty, and high rate of crime. Teso Peters, I would also want you to send your solutions. What should we do as citizens in order to reduce corruption in the system?
And veteran, before you react to that message from Teso Peters, I want to find out what should the general public expect from PRIMORG with regards to more amplification of corruption reports going forward?
I think we are continuing with this project. We have other projects that are on. Remember that PRIMORG is not essentially just set up to fight corruption. We are pushing for good governance. We are asking the government to reduce its overhead because of governance is so much. We are also saying that we need to restructure the Nigerian Federation for it to be effective. We are also campaigning that citizens should participate in governance, even if they are not going to be elected or appointed during elections. They should participate and vote. They should not be looking just be non-local. We are also saying that even after elections, they should hold their representatives accountable. How many people know the local government chairman or other where they are? How many people know their representatives? How many people know that the local government has a budget? How many people know that state governments have a budget? How many people are aware that you are entitled to know what is happening? If a road construction is going on in your place, a bridge is being constructed in your place, how many people know that you are entitled to know the base of quantity, the budget, and everything that is into it? Now we must organize ourselves. There are some communities, so many communities are doing this already because of the effort of ICPC and other NGOs. Now we must organize ourselves. We should not just live by breathing or just walk, take a drink, and just go back to bed. Let us be interested in what is happening in our environment. So PRIMORG has a lot of work to do, and the public conscience program is continuing. We are optimistic that we will continue to get the support of our partners, the MacArthur Foundation, all the CSOs, the NGOs that we are working with, and the media group, and the general public. So it's not a job that can end within the space of 2 years. We are continuing. The public should expect more interaction. They should expect that we are going to be doing more of our town hall meetings, the community town hall meetings, the radio town hall meetings, and we'll be on the street to see, do our best to find out how they know about corruption. It is just the beginning of our own way of contributing to the growth of society.
What is good here is that the listener, they are hearing it from the horse's mouth. That PRIMORG will do more.
PRIMORG will do more, and the citizen also, you still have more to do, because like we say in economics, the foregone alternative, the opportunity cost of corruption. Good road,
Yeah.
good healthcare system, good leadership. So you might want to ask yourself, which do you prefer? Insecurity? Continue with the acts of corruption, but that is not what we are promoting here. We want everybody to shun corruption, because at the end of the day, it benefits you, it benefits me, it benefits those in authority, it benefits each and every one of us. Someone sent in a message. I would encourage you to add your name and your location whenever you send a message to us. I'll still take your message. It says corruption is still bringing down the economy. Of course, corruption affects every facet, every sector of the society. No matter how you want to look at it, corruption affects each and every one of us. And until we all put our heads together and say no, we will continue on this path, which does not favor anybody. No matter how much you steal, no matter how much you circumvent from the system, there's security challenge. It affects you. Power failure, it affects you.
Definitely.
bad road, it affects you. So corruption affects all of us negatively.
And before we let you go, veteran journalist, we want you to quickly give us your take on this. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has about 2 years to wrap up his second tenure in office. What will be your charge to the president on advancing the fight against corruption?
I think the president has 2 glorious years still outstanding. He can use to change the picture that we see. The picture that we see currently is not a good one. We have not seen a government led by President Muhammadu Buhari that is frontal with corruption. But I must quickly mention that he has done certain things that have assisted to tame aspects of corruption. The single treasury account, for instance, where government officials will just spend the money. When they just get the money, they don't do this government that made it possible for government agencies to pay money directly into the federation account and then get money to work. There are many things that have been done. We are looking at the whistleblower policy. The government is currently working on the template to get the law to back it up. I know that the PRIMORG is participating at the level of looking at the law with the Federal Ministry of Finance. We are attending a program next week in Kirby to take a look at the final draft of this law to be sure that people can blow whistle and be safe. There are so many things that the president can still put his feet down on and do, and the most important of them is to punish corruption. Let there be in the interest of at the very, very top, at the level of the presidency, a corruption report. When the media house reports corruption, let there be action from the police, from the ICPC, from the EFCC, and if they don't do it, let there be somebody who will prompt the president to say, look, this is a report that is in the media, there is money stolen in this agency. What are we doing about it? I think the president can do more within these 2 years to let us know that he actually means the idea of fighting corruption more than what he has done now. I must commend him for what he has done so far, but he has not done enough to get all the kudos that probably have given to him. But luckily, he has 2 years. He can use these 2 years to remedy whatever gaps that we have seen in the fight against corruption.
The presidency has 2 more years to remedy what the issue, remedy
whatever we are into.
Thank you so much, Okiri Agbonsuremi. We must let you go at this time.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. I want to appreciate all our partners, our supporters, our listeners, the partners that we have, our collaborators, and we say we have a lot more to do in the fight against corruption. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Okiri. We have so much to do. And someone sent in a message and it says, in your bunk Okon in Gwarimpa, and it says, PRIMORG should follow up seriously on the amendment of the Electoral Act to include electronic voting. We've been talking so much on that, and we will continue until we see the needed and the positive change that we want in our society. From what Dayo Ayeton of ICIR said earlier, that the work of these investigative journalists are complementary. The government shouldn't see it. Yes, we are exposing corruption, especially when it comes to government, public officers, because the office you occupy is a trust and you're dealing with public fund. But again, you must see that it is complementary. And then, from what Okiri said, the anti-graft agencies need to do more. When these reports are churned out, you don't have to wait for us to come knocking. Oh, this report has been published, you need to act on it.
From our national budget, we pay the ESCC, we pay the ICPC, we bring reports down to their table. So it's enough work. Somebody has done your work, so you need to just take action. But
our time is almost
must go.
We must go. You can watch our videos on PRIMORG TV, our YouTube channel. We want to encourage you to please subscribe to get reminders when we have a new post. We sincerely appreciate the veteran journalist and the executive director of PRIMORG, Okiri Agbonsuremi, for breaking down the report to us via the phone. Public Conscience is supported by the John D. and Catherine C. MacArthur Foundation, committed to building a more just, fervent, and peaceful world. Get more information on its website, macfound.org.
Join us again here next week for another episode of Public Conscience. And remember to follow us on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Official PRIMORG. I am Chidozie Obunaya.
For those of you who called in, we say thank you. Those who sent in messages and those watching via Facebook, we say thank you. You must remember that we still have more to do. Thank you again to all our media partners and all the communities we have so far engaged with. We appreciate you all. Remember that you can give us information or hint about corrupt act through our phone 0902-265-6167 or info@primorg.org. I am Adelby Obiabumo. Stay safe.